lesson live on. Should enjoy the fruits of life instead of chasing coins. Because it's a beautiful day.
Hey friends, and welcome back to the vlog. Oh my lord, the weather here is just so gorgeous. It has been insanely hot here. How's the weather where you guys are? Let me know in the comments down below what kind of weather you've been experiencing. We have had a lot of rain and a lot of sunshine, and in New England that equals a lot of humidity, and it is just so hot out right now that I kind of prefer to stay home as much as possible. Now, today is Thursday, and it is in fact date night for Scott and I. We usually go to the exact same place every single week and just have the absolute best time, but that bill also comes to about $140, $150 every single week when we go out to eat every Thursday. And we just got back from one vacation. We're actually leaving for another vacation in 2 weeks, and I would prefer to just kind of stay home, save a few bucks if possible, and it's too hot. I don't want to go out. I want to stay home. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to celebrate date night with a very special dinner, one that you don't serve all the time because this typically is a higher end meal, but it's perfect for date night and it's perfect for sharing with you guys. So the plan is to make this amazingly delicious dinner completely inspired by Ina Garten herself, and hopefully the sun will have gone down enough and it will have cooled off at our outside seating area where I'll be able to just dress that table up and just have a really nice dinner for Scott and myself right here in our home, with a dinner that actually doesn't take all that to prepare. I was really quite surprised when I found her recipes, and I was like, wow, this is ahead of time, this is ahead of time. The only thing that has to be done is the protein right before you serve it. Everything else we get to make ahead of time, and I think that's actually great. I wanted to share this recipe with you. We are gonna make it together. I have had a version of this type of a meal before, the protein anyways. I have never had the side dish, and I'm really excited to try that one tonight. I hope it's actually gonna be good. I'm trying to eat so much healthier right now and be a whole lot more conscious of what I am putting into my body and into Scott's body. And I think that eliminating a starch as a heavy side dish, indulging a little bit with a little sauce to go with our protein, and lightening it back up with a nice vegetable side is the way to go. So for today's menu that I am really excited to share with you guys, we are going to be making Ina Garten's Steakhouse steak with a Roquefort chive sauce. That's basically a good blue cheese. And we are also going to serve this with a side dish that I am really excited to try, and that is going to be cold snap peas with pancetta. This recipe sounds so good, and the fact that it's actually a cold side is even more appealing to me, especially during these hot summer days like this. We'll be in the shade, the steak will be hot, but it'll be so nice to have this delicious, refreshing side dish to it. And then for dessert, because you have to have dessert on date night, we are going to use the ultimate summer dessert of all time, but we are going to do ours in a deconstructed version, and let me just tell you, it is not only gorgeous to look at, but it's so delicious this way, and I kind of like the fact that it's a little bit deconstructed. Now, I am going to start this early in the day, and I just have to do a few simple things to it, and I won't have to come back to it until it's time to eat dinner. So that gives me plenty of time to think of a very simple tablescape. I'll have to see what I have in my supplies to see what I can put together for a gorgeous romantic dinner outside with my man. So without further ado, let's get in the house, get our aprons on, and get this going. I'm going to start this early in the day and finish it up right before it's time to serve. I always keep Bisquick mix in the house because I use it for so many things, including like deep frying Oreos and deep frying Twinkies. And yeah, sometimes I do use it to make pancakes or waffles. But I actually really like the Bisquick mix for my biscuit on my strawberry shortcake. I think the flavor of them is delicious. I love the slight sweetness that it has. And like I said, I had it in the house, so I am just going to whip up a simple and quick batch of Bisquick biscuits for my strawberry shortcake and just leave them for the day to chill out until I'm ready for them. They had some beautifully ripe and delicious strawberries at the store. So I grabbed 2 quarts of them. And can I just say, these are probably the sweetest berries I have ever tasted in my life. That's a fact. So I'm just going to give them a nice quick cleaning with my vegetable wash. And then I'm going to remove the tops and slice them up. Just stick them in a bowl. I'm going to add some sugar to that bowl. That's how you create the juice within the strawberries for your strawberry shortcake. And I'm just going to pop this in the fridge for the day, let it hang out and chill, let that sugar do its work, and let that juice really form in there. I saved the tops of the strawberries to bring out to the chickens. And on my way out, I couldn't help but notice little Miss Maggie May just sitting there as innocent as possible, just right next to my hummingbird feeder. No, 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 Maggie, we don't do that. Also, you'll notice this chair right here. I actually just kind of saw it on the side of the road, and I said to Scott, you know what? I want that. They just put it out. Go grab it. So he grabbed this chair for me. It's actually in fabulous condition, and I love it. I have plans for that. But for now, we're going to get back to bringing these over to the chickens. They've never had strawberries before, and at first they're kind of like, what the heck is this? What do we do with this? But I can assure you that when I went back later on during the day, they were, in fact, gone. They did enjoy them. These guys are so much fun. And right now, these ones are going on 8 weeks old. I can't believe it's been 8 weeks since I got this batch of chickens. I love them all. Their names are Mike Wachowski and Sully. Those are my 2 roos that were surprises to me. We also have Judy Bunny the chicken. We have Gucky. We have my sweet little girl, Mary Kate, who has a neurological disorder, but she's doing real good. And they are now fighting for the dirt baths out there. Chickens love a good dirt bath, so they eat the strawberries when they're all done. Oh, and Vera. How could I forget Vera? That's Vera right there. She's the black one with that gorgeous, gorgeous bronze on her. I really love watching them. They're so much fun. The younger babies still eat crumble, but I decided to give them a little bit of watermelon and see how they like it. And they do end up eating it, but it's a slow process for them. It's something new and they're just not sure of it. But these guys are also getting huge. And can I just say they can all fly? Thank goodness they're confined in their little cage for now, but they are outgrowing them quickly. Look at how cute they are. My little babies. Hello, my little babies. Now we're going to work on our side dish, which is super easy. I'm literally just going to get a pan of water boiling on the stove. I'm definitely going to add some salt to that. And then once it's boiling, I am going to carefully place my snow peas into the water. I only want to leave them in this boiling water for about 15-20 seconds. I am going to take them directly out of the water using my spiderweb slotted spoon, and I am going to plunge them into an ice bath. One, this keeps them looking gorgeous and bright, bright green. Two, it does make them tender. You don't need a lot of cooking because we want to eat them kind of in the raw state. And three, this is super easy to do. Before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Redchef. Redchef is a brand committed to health and environmental protection. The pan's surface and interior are constructed using naturally smooth ceramics. They avoid completely using any toxic or synthetic materials like PTFE, PFOA, PFAS, and if you don't know what those are Teflons and they are no good for us. The bottom of the pan is constructed of layers that has the ability to distribute the heat evenly and more uniform, which in turn creates a better cooking environment for your food. Red Chef pans are incredibly easy to clean, and the detachable handle makes storing those pans so much neater and better without all of those handles to contend with. That is a huge bonus for me. I hate a messy cupboard. The handle attachment has a great thick silicone layer on each side of it, which makes gripping each pan you attach it to super easy, snug, and tight. And it couldn't be easier to attach it by pressing that base. You'll click it into position and it will lock on there heavy and hard. And when you're ready to release it, you just use the thumb release there and it comes right off the pan when you click the bottom. Which, by the way, is a perfect feature for oven cooking. I have to say, I really like the option of not putting a handle in the oven, regardless of what it's made out of. Red Chef offers frying pans, saute pans, and saucepans. And did I mention they are also oven safe up to 500 degrees? It is absolutely amazing how the surface of these pans are truly no stick. Just wait until you see how clean these pans come when my steak is done in the oven. It is truly mind-blowing. I highly recommend these pans for several reasons. One, because they are healthy for you and they are environmentally smart to make. Two, they truly do work. And three, they're not going to emit any of those toxins while you're cooking, which is a big bonus because I certainly don't want to be eating them and I certainly don't want to put any of that in my family. Red Chef has an exclusive offer for my viewers. Use the link provided in the video description below and receive 20% off. This is an amazing deal for ceramic non-stick pans that are actually good for you and truly work. They're budget friendly and I really can't recommend them enough. I really do want to thank Red Chef for sending me these pans because they are definitely my new favorite ones in the kitchen. Now I'm going to use my smaller Red Chef skillet and I'm just going to fry up some pancetta. I am not going to add anything to the surface of this pan because trust me, you really don't need to add anything. Nothing is going to stick. I am going to fry up my pancetta until it is nice and crispy like bacon. I love, love, love the flavor of pancetta and how it can elevate any dish. Do you like pancetta? Is it something that you add to any recipes, or do you have a special recipe you like to use it for, or a special way to cook it? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like to eat pancetta? The pancetta's all done, so now I'm literally just going to drain it on some paper towel and set it aside until I am ready to use it. Let's talk about these Red Chef pans again, shall we? Look at that. There is like nothing in there, nothing stuck to it, nothing burnt. I'm literally just going to wipe this pan with a paper towel. I am not going to bother washing it, and I am going to leave it there until it's time to cook my steak. I'm going to use the exact same pan because it looks brand new. Nothing sticks to these pans, people. Nothing. Ina's recipe calls for a very specific salt that is French and that I cannot pronounce, nor am I going to try to. I don't have that kind of salt. I couldn't find that kind of salt. But what I do have is butcher's salt, which is a very delicious salt that actually has some thyme in it. It is a coarse cut salt. So what I'm going to do is take a couple tablespoons of my butcher salt and I am going to put it in my electric spice grinder. And I'm also going to take a couple tablespoons of some peppercorn and I am going to add that in there as well. We're going to grind that up nicely and that is going to be what we are going to use on our steak. Once my peas were cool, I drained them, got all the water off of them, and then I cut the peas lengthwise, meaning I went right down the middle of the pea, right through the peas, so that in each half you could see the cut peas. It's actually very beautiful and a really good way to cut them up. Full disclosure here, Ina's recipe for these peas calls for a dressing made out of olive oil and some champagne vinegar and some lemon juice. And to be perfectly honest, Scott did not like the flavor whatsoever of that. And I actually kind of didn't like it myself. So what I did differently for this menu, and it was absolutely delicious, is I used some of my favorite salad dressing, which just happens to be Olive Garden's Italian dressing, and that's what I put on the beans in place of the dressing Ina wants. And let me just tell you, that was amazing. I didn't want to go super, super fancy on my table because what goes up must come down, and that just means there's more work for me in the end, which is what I was trying to eliminate. But that doesn't mean that I don't want a pretty table. So I just did a very simple but pretty tablescape to let Scott know that this is a romantic dinner and that I love him very, very much. Got my pan right here up on the stove, and I have my filet mignon medallions. Here in our bowl we have our version of the salt and pepper required for this meal from Ina. I'm gonna leave the pan right on there to get hot. Now, Ina says put nothing in the pan. We're just gonna go with a straight hot pan. And this is the most alarming part of it. We are literally going to encrust our medallions in this salt and pepper mixture. I mean, like every surface, front, back, all the sides. It seems like a lot, even to me. It seems like a lot. She assures us it is not in this recipe. She's the great Ina Garten. I've got to take her word for it. Who am I to question Ina? That is not my job. My job is to follow the recipe and see how it comes out. So I am going to take my medallions and cover them in this salt and pepper mixture. And then they're gonna go right into our hot pan. I'm gonna sear them on all sides. You wanna sear it, you wanna get that nice crispy, crunchy coating on the outside. That is all flavor. That is the purpose of searing the meat. It is also to hold in all of the juices while it's cooking, keeping this cut of meat extremely tender, which that's what I paid for. We're not messing this up. So once it is done there, it is gonna finish off in the oven. And that is how restaurants do it, which is why this is called a restaurant steak. Restaurants generally start them out on top of the stove or maybe on a flame, but they generally finish them off in the oven because that is the quickest way to get it done, the most even temperature at all times, and the perfect way to do it. Dry our meat, a little bit of vegetable oil all over. And then that is going to go right into our salt and pepper mixture. I have seared all sides of the meat and my house is smelling pretty darn good right now. And now I'm going to put a couple plops of homemade butter on top of each one. And yes, that is an official term. It is a plop of butter. And then these are going to go right into the oven and finish off. Just look at how easy the handle comes off these Redchef pans. I really am loving these pans. Timer just went off, so we're going to check our steaks to see where they're at. We're a medium family, so we definitely wanted about 140, 145. Especially with a steak cut like this, a very expensive cut, you don't want to overcook it. And we are right at 140, so I'm going to take these out. We're going to let these sit and rest for 5 minutes. I'm going to tent them with some foil. Look at that. It's perfect. Let this go. Now there's one thing I want to say about these Redchef pans, and that is, look at this. There is nothing stuck. Everything is sliding. It's been in the oven. It has had things searing in it and totally caramelizing with the sugars and their own juices, and this is going to be a simple cleanup. That is a win in my book, for sure. Beyond a doubt, I am super impressed with my Redchef pans. I love the fact that they are stovetop and oven safe. Doesn't get any better than that in my book. Now I'm going to get my Roquefort chive sauce going by adding some heavy cream to my saucepan and getting that on the stove. We're going to bring this to a boil, and then we are going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes. We want the heavy cream to reduce by about half and thicken up even more than it already is. While our cream is doing its thing on the stove, I just went out to my herb garden and grabbed some chives. I actually find that using kitchen shears to cut my chives is the best way to do it. If I try chopping them with a knife, they kind of go all over the place. So I prefer using kitchen shears when it comes to cutting chives, scallions, things like that. It just makes it so much easier. All right, it's reduced by half. We're going to shut that off. Now we're going to add our cheese. I'm just going to kind of let this sit here and melt together while we get our snap pea salad put together. I can't wait anymore. I want to try this salad. And a little bit of everything right there. Oh my Lord, that's good. Who would have ever thought? Perfect. So good. You're gonna love that.
I come to you in times of trouble. You're always resting at my door. Though I've wavered, you've been waiting. I'm the one you're looking for. Gratefully and humbly, I give you everything, and all that I can sing is thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You alone can see me clearly, even in my deep despair. In the giving we receive it. Show me how to meet you there. Gratefully and humbly, I give you everything, and all that I can sing is thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratefully and humbly, I give you.
Well, friends, thank you so much for joining me tonight on my stay-at-home date night menu, and a big thanks to our sponsor, Redchef. I have to say, I am very, very impressed with that cookware, and the fact that the handle comes off for this easy storage and you don't have handles all in the way. Big, huge bonus. Love that feature. Be sure to pop down below in the video description, click on that link and get 20% off your order of Redchef cookware. It is a fantastic product at a fantastic price. And thank you guys so much again for joining me on date night as we celebrated it at home with an amazing dinner, complete from Ina Garten's recipe collection that is absolutely fabulous. Don't forget to also pop down in the video description below, click on those links and print off copies of these recipes for yourself. I am telling you, this sugar pea recipe is a huge hit and going to become a super favorite and in our rotation in our house, and I couldn't be more happy about it. It's an absolutely refreshing side dish for summer, and I am so glad I decided to try it. You will be too. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this has inspired you to not go out and spend all kinds of crazy money. Date night isn't about where you go and how much money you spend. It's about the company you keep, and what better way to keep company than in your own home. Dinner and a movie sounds great to me. Thank you guys once again so much, and I will see you next time on another vlog. Bye.